Like there's always somebody a little bit worse and there's always somebody a little bit better. The question is are you doing everything that you can today to get a little bit better? So that in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, whatever it is, that you can be like that guy on the right, if that's what your goal is, right?
Real business owner.
Whatever your situation is currently is not your forever situation.
That's really what real business owners is, man. Like, we don't care where you come from, where are you going?
Our goal and our job is to reduce the mistakes that you have to make or the money that you have to lose.
You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be successful, don't give up.
You learn, adjust, and continue to move forward. Welcome back to the Real Business Owners Podcast with myself, Trevor Cowley. Guys, today we have a couple studs traveling, I was going to say the world, but not quite the world. Traveling the U.S., I guess, right? We've got Clint Riggins. This next one's going to be tough for me. We've got Edy Gomez Dal Casal.
Perfectly said.
You say it now. You say it.
Eduardo Gómez del Casal.
Gomez Dal Casal.
Perfect.
Okay. I don't stop until it's perfect. So I'm glad that happened. So, no, these guys, I was hitting the gym the other day, just normal ass day, walked in, saw these two guys, they're on a mission, I guess, to do something with their mindset, do something to give back, to serve, to get closer to God. I'll let you guys kind of explain that a little bit. Because it kind of happened by happenstance, right? We bumped into each other at the gym. Hey, do you have a place that, we could park and work or whatever? I said, come to the office. That was 2 days ago. You guys came to the office, hung out for, 4 or 5 hours, whatever it was. And then here we are, a day or two later, shooting a podcast together. So if you guys will, tell us a little bit about, one, how you two even know each other, right? Because that had to happen somehow. And then secondly, how do these two guys that didn't know each other, that now know each other, do this thing where they say, hey, let's just drive across the country and stop at all these different places and hope to accomplish X, whatever X is, right? You guys obviously know what you're trying to do and what the purpose of this trip is, but I do want to kind of highlight that a little bit because there is a reason behind it, and usually you won't do something extreme like what you guys are doing unless you have experienced extreme lows.
Yes.
Right? Because it's a dark place that you have to go to in order to make extreme changes or to do something that you wouldn't maybe normally do, right? And so I'm sure that there's some stories, some things that maybe are relatable that we can kind of dig up in regards to your guys' why, because it's, you guys are taking months out of your life doing something that's abnormal, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying abnormal is bad. I think abnormal is great. Normal is what's bad, right? And so if you will, speak on that a little bit.
Would you like to start?
Yeah.
You want to take it?
Eduardo.
All right.
Eduardo.
Del Casal.
So, Del Casal.
Gomez Del Casal.
There you go. Yeah. Spanish 101. So, I think the best way to start is how we met. We met at
OnlyFans? FarmersOnly.com.
It was actually at the lowest time of our life.
Both of you?
Both of us. It was one of those nights. It was actually
How long ago was this?
2 years and a half, exactly.
Okay.
Like in May of 2000.
So it's like 2020. Yeah. COVID's, actually, at the peak, doing its thing. Everybody's masked up, getting jabs left and right. Being the good sheep that they were, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 2021 started very rough for me, I just injured, I was told by the doctor, never again, you're going to be able to play basketball.
So basketball was your life?
It was my career, yeah. That was what I worked my whole life since the age of 4, My marriage went down, and my cousin passed away. All that within 2 weeks. My brain couldn't take it. I go home, I go see psychologist, because I needed help, to be honest. I thought about even taking my life twice, and I actually attempted it. I go back to I come back to the U.S. to try to retake my marriage, try to.
So where was this happening? This was happening in Brazil?
No, this was happening in North Dakota when I came back to the U.S. In Spain when I went to the.
So when you were playing basketball, where were you playing ball at?
I'm sorry, here.
Where were you? You were playing basketball in the United States. You were in North Dakota.
North Dakota contract a professional contract in Spain, you know, I finally gonna make my dream come true of, you know, like, hey, I'm actually gonna play home.
I'm gonna get paid,
you know, like
to play ball.
You know, at home, you know, which was always my dream, have my family, because I've been always playing away from home. So I've never really had all my friends or my family there. You know, a contract is signed, you know, and I get injured. You know, we have to break everything, you know. So I come back to the US. I go through months trying to get back my marriage to what it was. We end up splitting. And I decide to go back to Tampa, Florida, where one of my best friends is there. Hey, come here for a month. You know, like, I'll take care of you. I'll help you out. And I try to forget everything by drinking, raging, partying from Thursday to Sunday every single day.
Yes, sir.
It was numbing me.
Finding the answers at the bottom of the bottle.
Exactly.
But there was no answers there, so you check the next one.
Worst mistake.
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
probably one of the worst things I ever made. And I met him at a bar. You know, he approached us. You know, me and my older friend. I was like, we talked. It was his last night. You wanna say it? I think.
Yeah, it was my last night doing drugs.
Yeah,
because I had an addiction problem with cocaine for quite a while trying to run an online fitness coaching business, which, you know, doesn't go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I love it. I love this already. It's some deep shit. Yeah. Here we go. It's like the slow click of the roller coasters that goes up, and then all of a sudden we start hearing the story. We're falling fast. You know, cocaine, drinking, this, that. Like,
it was a scary moment of my life because first of all, that never happened to me. I was always healthy.
Yeah.
Never went out in college. Not in one day, because to me going out was leaving my teammates behind. You know, even college, professional, everything, you know. And we met, and basically it's like an unspoken deal that we made to each other. We actually never spoke about, hey, I promise you I'm never going to do this. But we actually I stopped drinking. He stopped doing drugs. And from there, we just elevated ourselves. Like in every area of life, you know, we work every single day of the week, and on Saturdays we will meet, have a CEO's dinner, you know, and then
have a what?
A CEO's dinner.
A CEO dinner.
Yeah, that's how we would call it.
We'd have a CEO's dinner, even though we weren't CEOs yet.
Yeah.
We were just visualizing ourselves.
Having CEO dinner.
Yeah. Let's do it, you know, and then back to grind, you know, and in the morning, like, you know, like work, you know, afternoon work, and that's how.
So did you guys become like roommates, or you guys were just homies? Like,
no, so at that point, I was just moving to Tampa. So we were out with our best friend Charles, or my friend Charles Rizak, and then we all became best friends.
Okay.
And then from there, you were driving Uber at that point.
Yeah, I was driving Uber.
His mom is in real estate in Spain. We were starting an investment company, doing wholesaling with Charles. So we were he wanted to connect. It wasn't even for fitness. And then he found out that I did fitness coaching. And he's like, dude, I would love to do that. But he didn't trust me.
I was tired of Uber, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
My psychologist told me, Eddie, you have to find something that helps you socialize with people, that keeps your brain going.
Uber, you get to socialize with people.
I talked to so many people in my car.
And he knows Tampa like the back of his hand.
And some of my friends, the best relationships that I have right now, I met them, you know,
on the Uber.
They were on the back of my car. Yeah, it was great.
So would you recommend if somebody's lonely and they need to socialize, you know, to download the Uber app and become an Uber driver for the weekends, get to know some new people, find some new friends while you're getting paid to do it?
If you're getting into a new city, yes, because also it was great because now I know the whole area.
Oh, wow.
You know, it actually helped me, but I got very tired. I knew my purpose wasn't driving, you know, and my hours were from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. And then at 5 a.m. I would go pick him up to his house, which he was 45 minutes away from my house. We would go to work out. I would go back, sleep, repeat, you know. And I knew I had a bigger calling, you know. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah.
So when he mentioned fitness, I was like, well, actually, that fits what that's my
You were a basketball
niche,
player, you know.
It fits me. I want to help people. That was my ultimate goal. Like, one of my dreams has been always, I wanted to play pro to raise money to build schools for kids, you know. So I was like, I'm actually going to do this. In fact, I have some scholarships back home, you know, in schools, you know, like it's actually called the Relentless Coaching Scholarship, you know, where I help kids that they don't have funds to go to school, you know, so that fulfilled my purpose. And that's how everything started. He had limitless coaching back then. He mentored me, and now I have relentless coaching, and he was at the top of the top, you know, like he raised it really well. And I was just following his steps, you know, to the point where he scaled it really big, really fast. He had issues with some of his business partners, and he got stuck and actually eventually went all down to the ground.
Went down the tubes,
Yeah.
the toilet.
And I kept growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you're my best friend. Why don't we actually create an impact together? You have what I don't have. He has what I don't have. I think I just said the same.
What, he speaks good English?
You know.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
So, yeah.
yeah.
Well, he gets the divorced moms because the accent.
Yeah, I know.
And I get the men who just want to be
It's
jacked.
like the out of towner or out of country guy over here that's tall, ripped,
Yes.
accent, you know, all that. The ladies, whatever, are all swooned by it. Like, they never get swooned by a short, stocky, stubby dude.
I mean,
I know from experience. You know.
I know it sounds good. I always said that you are measured by the heart, and it's actually true. It's not actually a cheesy line. It's actually so true.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, like that's how it was. You know.
Yeah, I love
And
that story.
Now we have been taking relentless coaching to the next level.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
impacting thousands of people.
Yeah.
You know, and we get to the point again in 2023 where we finished 2022 at the highest point ever. You know, like economically.
The highest
like,
point, as in
personally.
no drugs high.
No,
An actual natural high.
I haven't.
Not a cocaine
There you go.
high.
Yep,
Right?
yep.
So, no, that's cool, dude. I mean, I can relate to your guys' story, you know, in terms of addictions, right? You know, I had a needle in my arm every single day for like 4 years, bro. Heroin, cocaine, meth. It didn't matter what it was. Put it in the spoon and I'll do what I do. You know what I mean? So at that point, I was just a junkie, right? It was just escaping reality was what the priority was. It didn't matter how, right? If I didn't have the drug of choice, it would go to the next one, and then the next one, whatever you've got, you know, I'm game, because that's how miserable I was, right? I guess the question that I have, you know, for you is, where did it come from? Like, how did you start, you know,
my father.
down this path? Were you starting to make good money, surrounding yourself with the wrong people? Like, kind of explain. I mean, obviously we know that you guys found each other in a bar, and I wouldn't normally recommend to go to the bar to find an accountability partner, but you know, that's normally not the environment that you're going to find your best bud that you're going to do in things of impact with, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is a unique situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, how did that come about?
My dad was an alcoholic
Okay.
for 20 years, then a drug and alcohol counselor for 24 years. So he always said I had a genetic disposition for an addictive personality.
So say that again. So he was an alcoholic for 20 years. But what was about the 24?
Drug and alcohol counselor.
He was?
He was.
So he was drinking the whole time while he was
No. Drinking and then became one.
Oh, gotcha.
He saved himself and then saved others.
Okay. I thought he was double dipping here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's sipping while he's telling other people, like, hey, dude, don't be doing that shit. You know?
Could you
I was
imagine?
like, damn. Dude, there's more fucked up shit in the world, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that makes more sense, though.
Yeah. And then in the military, I started partying at the end of my, I was going to stay in for 20. And then I only did 8 years.
Yeah.
I actually got kicked out of the military because I, pissed hot on a drug test. And I got out an honorable discharge, thankfully. But that's when my partying started. And then went all the way until then.
Yeah. So you just decided at one point, like, hey, let's just, what was the first time? There had to be a first time. What was the environment that you were in the first time that you used a little booger sugar, dude?
Oh, I still remember to this day. I was in this girl's room, and then it was like it was 2 a.m. and she worked for Hooters, and then we were up there, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to try this?" I was like, "Oh man, I'm in the military." She's like, "Oh, you won't get tested. You'll be fine." I tried it one time, and I was hooked. And then it was every weekend, and then I live with a drug dealer.
Yeah.
So when you live with a drug dealer, it's accessible.
Mm-hmm. Well, then it turns into every weekend plus Monday. And then it turns into every weekend and Monday and Tuesday. And then next thing you know, it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's fuck it every day, right? And then you just justify it, right? Like I did it yesterday, so I can do it today, and the next thing you know, you're a full-blown addict, and it almost has you in a chokehold before you even know that it has you in a chokehold, right? And that's how sneaky addiction can actually be. But so you guys find each other in a bar in Florida. You become best friends. You've had success with fitness coaching.
Yep.
Is that mainly is it mindset? Is it business? Is it fitness?
Mindset,
or was
fitness.
it mainly fitness?
Fitness, nutrition, and mindset.
Gotcha.
For the most part.
Okay. So you saw success with that, had some issues with some business partners.
Yep.
That all went down the tubes.
Yep.
You're over here starting to kind of do some stuff with some of his mentoring because he's seen success. So you're kind of copying and pasting it, right?
Exactly.
And then you guys paired up, and that was a year ago, 6 months ago. Like, when did you guys come together as a partnership?
The end of May of 2022.
Yeah, so it was June.
June.
Get up on that mic, bro.
Sorry. End of May of 2022.
End of May of 2022.
Yes.
So it's been just a little over a year. Okay. So in the course of that year, why did you guys, at what point did you guys even start kicking up the conversation that said, hey, we're going to just travel all over the United States? Like, why did that happen? How did that happen? And, because my guess is, again, there was another probably low point, right?
So,
Because I believe some of the best things that ever happened to anybody happen on the back of something that appears to be extremely bad or an extremely low point in their life, depending on how they handle it, if they're resilient or not, right? If they're resilient and they're just not a quitter, they're going to look in the mirror and say, I can't do this anymore. I need to change. What's the next best step for me, right? And so go ahead. I mean, I already know that you're not doing something so stupid like driving across the country just for the hell of it, for the fun of it. There's something deeper than that, right?
So we've been traveling the country for 22 days.
Okay.
And this trip was decided 27 days ago.
So you had an idea and a thought, and then within a
Yes.
week, you guys are on the road.
Yes, and it was just because we, like I was saying, 2022, we ended up, December, it was, amazing, crazy numbers financially. We are creating amazing impact. Personally, we're at the top of the top. And January of 2023 starts, and we start to feel a little bit, wow, what's going on? He starts to feel off. He was already feeling off since last year as well. But I think that January he was like, I just cannot keep going. I'm burnout. I don't know. I don't have the motivation.
I lost vision. I hit a dark depression.
So I'll let him.
Yeah.
Why don't you take it?
Elaborate, bro.
Yeah.
Elaborate.
Yeah,
Because this is far more common than it isn't, right?
Yeah.
I don't care how great you are.
Right.
I don't care how good you are. I don't care, how well intended you are. None of that matters because life is going to bring you to your knees at one point.
Right.
That's just a fact, right? Like you could be doing everything right and you will still get tested. You will end up in the eye of the storm. What do you do when you're in the eye of the storm? Do you actually look at yourself and say, okay, this is not okay. I need to hold myself accountable. Something's got to change. Something's got to give. And again, you have to start pivoting or adjusting and changing something because obviously what you're currently doing got you into a low spot mentally, right? And you know that you're better than that because you've seen better days. And so you have to throw yourself a curveball a little bit.
Yeah.
So talk about that. Do you feel like that you were just living the same day over and over and it was no longer challenging to you and you became complacent and that complacency created some sort of just resentment towards the life that you were living? Then you ended up in a dark place.
I think it was the biggest thing was me was like I failed myself. Because when I lost Limitless Coaching, it was my baby. And I felt like I was just a loser.
Yeah.
I didn't
Your
know.
identity was tied
My
up
identity
in
was
the
gone.
success of that.
Yes.
Just like his identity was tied up in basketball, wife, all that,
Yes.
right?
Exactly. And it came to a point where I couldn't even get out of bed. The only time my door would open, it was and he would be busting through it to get me out of bed. because he believed in me at that point where I didn't even believe in myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only way that I would be here right now is because of him.
Yeah.
To be honest, because like 2 months before this, like I was in the VA. I almost committed suicide. Like I wanted to take my life.
Yeah.
It was just that serious. And then he just nonstop, no matter what, like, let's go, get up, get your shoes on, do something. Let's go for a walk. Let's go, like whatever it takes.
Yeah.
You need to do something to get out of this darkness that you're feeling.
Yeah. The answers aren't under the covers in your room in a dark hole.
Exactly.
You know, you've been there for a week. Have you found them yet? You know, it doesn't work. That's again, this is something that everybody needs to be aware of.
Yep.
It's not uncommon to not feel like brushing your teeth at night before going to bed, to not feel like getting out of bed, to not feel like getting dressed, to not feel like going to work, to not like, dude, everybody is going to have that happen to them. I think it's awesome that you had an individual in your corner that was able to pull you out of that situation. Not everybody has that. Sometimes we got to fucking big boy up and do that shit ourselves. But I mean, the pain has to get so great that the pain of actually getting out of bed and doing something a little bit different is less than the pain of staying in bed another day. Right.
Yes.
And so, you know, it's the whole choose your pain thing. Right. So it's like, if you hate what you're currently experiencing, it's okay to hate what you have to do to not have that experience, right? Go do something difficult or challenging. Yes, you might hate that process and what that looks like, but what's the outcome on the other side of that? And what's the outcome on the other side of just staying in a dark hole in your bed if you continue to do that, right? We have to, again, be a student of inevitability. Something is going to happen regardless with the actions that we're currently taking. What is that in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? If you continue to do that, you would either be dead or, you know, dead, right? Like, because it was just getting too dark, right? And you you can only handle so much darkness before, you know, OG Eddie Gomez del Casa came in.
He's getting better.
You know? By the end of this, dude, it's gonna be smooth, bro. And I won't be saying meth in the middle of it. Gomez del, you know, it'll be smoother. So, I think that's awesome, bro, and I appreciate your vulnerability because I think at this point in time, more than ever, there's more of that going on than there is of people feeling optimistic about their life and what's going on, right? When we're in the middle of the fight and in the middle of the battle, even if we're winning or losing, you're still in a battle. And being in a battle feels like it's painful regardless, but make sure that you're choosing battles, again, that have a positive outcome that will move the needle for you, that will make you proud in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, right? Versus the battle of, you know, you versus you in your mind and your mind winning, right? And keeping you in bed. So, I feel that because I've had many lows through this entrepreneurship experience, right? Like if you're in business, that's one thing that's not really talked about a lot in entrepreneurship is how dark and deep depression can hit. How much of your identity is actually tied up in you're an entrepreneur or a business owner or successful or a basketball player or a whatever that label is that you own that says I'm that. Who are you when that's taken away, right? And there's something deeper, and I think that's probably why you guys, maybe those were the moments that made you guys dig a little bit deeper and find God, right? Find something bigger than just an activity that you placed your identity upon, right? Like I'm a basketball player, dude. You're not. You're a son of God. You're not a basketball player, right? You're an individual that has the ability to create. If you have the ability to create, you have the ability to make impact. And nothing will make somebody feel better than making somebody feel better, right? Creating impact in somebody else's life. And so is that the point where were you guys always kind of religious? Because you guys, not even religious, I guess spiritual, or did one of you guys bring that out in each other, or was that always kind of in the background? Because my guess is you probably weren't saying, you know, gratitude prayers or anything when you were in your dark hole. So what changed? Because when I talk to you guys, hey, you say, yeah, impact, serve, and you talk about, you know, getting closer to God on this trip. Like, explain that a little bit in terms of your guys's, when you turned the corner from being my identity as a basketball player or as a successful fitness coach to something greater. Did one of you guys bring that out in the other person? Was there a third party that came in and brought that out in you guys? Or
I think we both had it,
yeah,
but we weren't acknowledging it,
yeah,
right? Like you would go to church.
Yeah, I've been very religious my whole life. You know, I just started to struggle like a lot, and I started to put God on the side. You know, I will think about Him every day, but I will not follow His guidelines. Let's say that way. You know.
What do you mean? Being in the bar hanging out with a cocaine head wasn't,
No,
wasn't following God's guidelines.
That's the thing, and this is actually a great topic because a lot of people do this.
Yeah.
Hey God, please help me do this. And then how are you actually answering to God? You know, you're asking, but what are you actually doing?
Yeah.
You know, and that's exactly what I was doing. Please God, help me deal with this pain.
You were begging and pleading.
And then I was like at the
But
bar,
then at the bar.
drunk, doing
Yeah.
the stuff that I wasn't supposed to do. And I'm like, well, I'm not actually like being good, you know, like it's like related to fitness. Yeah, I'm eating a salad. Yeah, but then
It's like
three burgers.
Yeah. Well, it's like drowning and asking for help, but tying ankle weights on
Exactly.
at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're drowning yourself, but yet you're asking for help, right?
And to me, it has been always the answer, God. Like every time that I felt alone, and has been 2 times in my life that I remember where I felt completely alone, knowing my family was there and my friends were there if I wanted to reach out, but I just felt alone still, you know. And He has been the answer, you know. Like I would not be here if I didn't feel the presence of God in that moment, you know. When I actually tried to take my life out, He brought the best gift ever. And this is still very hard for me to talk about. But I remember one night I called my dad and my mom. They didn't know I was going to commit suicide. And all of a sudden my mom is on the phone with my brother. I was like, I got to go to the living room. I got to take this call. Sure. And I hear my mom screaming, you know, like, oh my gosh. And I tell my, it's okay. Is my brother okay? You know, I was like, is he okay? Tell me he's okay. And my mom goes like, your brother's gonna have a kid. Dude. Crazy feeling.
So you thought something bad happened when she was screaming, but your brother basically said, "Hey, you know, I'm
gonna have a kid.
I'm gonna have a kid."
Yeah.
I didn't. My pullout game
I
was
begged
weak.
my brother
Yeah.
to call that girl Hope. I
Yeah.
swear, because she's actually the one who saved me. I was ready to pull the trigger, 100%. I didn't want it to stay in this.
So you expected that call to be your last call before you took your life,
100%.
and then there was
100%, man.
what's the baby's name?
Eh?
Is it Hope?
Oh, you're not gonna be able to pronounce that one.
Okay, never mind.
No, it's not Hope.
Yeah, we'll shelf that. You know?
But yeah, that's actually, I know that happened for a reason, and I know God was there, 100%. Like I just felt it, you know. Also, and I remember like, are you stupid, Eddie? Like I actually asked myself that, like, how are you gonna put your family into that pain, knowing how it feels to lose a family member? And that's why I'm actually in this situation, because I lost a cousin, and the whole family got destroyed for that. You know, like, and that was my turning point. You know, like one of them. You know, and then the next day I go to church and I start to bawl out, like crying, to the point where this guy comes to me and he's like, "Are you okay?" Like I couldn't even talk, I promise. And he's like, I'll let you take some breath, don't worry. And I tell him everything. Like, I'm gonna help you out, I promise you. Everything's gonna be fine. I was like, I'm a psychologist. We're gonna get through this. He was so confident. I know that God sent that person to me at church that day. It's like, I don't have money. I just had to pay for this. I got out of college, you know, like I cannot pay. I was like, you don't have to pay me. I just ask you that one day you pay forward. This guy helped me so much, man.
Are you still in contact with him?
Every single week. Yes, every single week. I share my wins, you know, like I call him. I still thank him almost like every single day. You know, he comments on my posts, you know, like, I won't be here without you, thank you, you know. And it's just amazing, you know, how God can be in your life through other people, you know. And the same with him, you know, like he tried to commit suicide. And I do believe that God has put me many days on his door at his apartment to stop that, you know. And I'm glad that he did, you know,
Yeah.
because I keep telling him, you know, like my life would have been, can we cause? Shit.
Okay, let's pull out of the darkness. Okay, let's pull out of the darkness now. No, for real. I think that thank you. You know, I think it's, you know, that's really authentic, vulnerable. You know, that's really what the world needs more of, because everybody's hurting like that, but nobody's talking about it, right? There's more people struggling than not struggling. Let's put it that way. You know, we talked about, you know, suicide rates in terms of if you're on your phone for more than 4 hours a day, it increases by 70%. You know, the likelihood that you're in that category increases by 70%, right? Why? Because we're comparing ourselves to other people. We're trying to, you know, keep up with everybody that has what we don't have, and we're not even paying attention to all the people that don't even have what we have. We're just comparing ourselves. It's like you go to the gym, there's somebody that's 400 pounds on your left, and there's somebody that's ripped and diced on your right. Who are you going to compare yourself to? You're going to look at the dude on the right and say, he's ripped, he's this, he's that. I'm not that. And you're not looking at, like, there's always somebody a little bit worse and there's always somebody a little bit better. The question is are you doing everything that you can today to get a little bit better, so that in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, whatever it is, that you can be like that guy on the right, if that's what your goal is, right? And then when you are the guy on the right and there's somebody that's comparing themselves to you, you can go to that individual and build them up, right? Like, I'm a firm believer that individuals with a good heart, a good soul, that honor God should be pushing themselves to the extreme and to the max, so that they can set an example and shine a light so bright that it lights the path for other people, right? And so if you're not doing that, you're not representing the potential that God has given you, and you're actually making the world a little bit less bright, right? You're not making it as good as it possibly could. It's our job to be the example and to encourage people, right? Like, that's really what the world needs, is a smile, a nod, a knuckles, some encouragement, whatever it is. You know, I'm a big talker when it comes to the gym, and I like saying hello to everybody because I want them to, like, fitness isn't a bad thing. Like, you should enjoy what you're doing when you're at the gym, even though you're exerting yourself and you're exhausted and you're this, you still should share some laughs, have a good time, and create a space to where you look forward to actually going, right?
Like recess.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Just like you're
That's how
playing
it
at
is,
recess.
yes.
You're running around on the monkey bars. You know, you weren't upset that you did 10 pull-ups on the monkey bars or whatever it was, right?
And this is something that I always tell people. When you go to the gym, stick to the routine, but have one exercise or two where you just have fun. My first 100 calories burn are always fun. So I go to the gym, I warm up, and then the first 100 calories that I burn are based on exercises that I just want to do. That makes me fun. Creates that joy, you know, and because you just don't want to.
What is it, cartwheels?
Eh?
The only thing that brings me joy is a sick-ass arm pump, bro. I'm going to just sit in front row next to the mirror with some 35s in hand and just curl away, bro.
That's your happiness right there.
Yeah.
You know?
Call them thiceps, bro. 'Cause you know what I mean? All buys, no thighs.
But
You know?
it's
I
just
ain't like
fun.
old Riggins over here looking like, dude, that's one of his legs are the size of both of mine.
I mean, we
so.
call him Quadzilla for a reason.
Quadzilla. Okay.
Oh, man.
It's matching. I prefer to stay cut up from the butt up, but everybody's different. You know what I mean?
I like that.
You do
I like
you,
that.
homie. You do you. So, but on the bright side, for real, like we talked about, like the real, the dark, the, you know, depression that everybody's going to have to fight and deal with, right? That's why it's pretty smart to put yourself around individuals that are good human beings that you can lean on when you find yourself in those moments, because you could be on the top of a mountain at the highest of highs. Your ass will get humbled. Like, that's what life's really about. And so either be strong enough to pull yourself out, or a good enough individual that other people care about you enough to pull you out. But let's talk about some of the positives that's happened from, you know, some of these what appear to be negative scenarios in your life, but ultimately ended up being a good thing because you took positive action, right? It could have not been a good thing if you would have took the negative action and took your life, right? But there is good coming from the bad that you guys have experienced. And so let's talk about the road trip for the last 22 days. What are some of the highs that you guys have experienced outside of kicking it with me? Obviously,
This has been the best moment, right?
yeah. Come on, bro. You don't gotta hype me up, bro. I'll do that for myself.
We got a sniper there, by the way. I'm just kidding.
Let's talk about that, because going through something dark, people need to understand, as long as they persist, that there are positives on the other side of that, right? And so you guys hit the road. You started in Florida. Rented a car? You guys just took one of your cars, or
We're taking the car and we're starting in Florida.
whose idea was this? So it was your idea.
Yes,
You're
sir.
like, listen, asshole, you're in a dark spot,
Well,
and I'm gonna pull you out.
No,
We're gonna-
actually-
what was it?
Actually, after my ex-wife, I got into one more relationship, and the only one after that. And I was actually so happy to have it, but it ended up being not what I actually wanted, like
You just wanted a relationship.
I
So
wanted
you-
I wanted a wife,
Yeah.
and that wasn't her style, let's say that way.
Are you a hopeless romantic, dude? You're a romantic guy.
I mean,
Very
Yeah.
romantic.
I like to love people,
This guy, dude. All the
Yeah.
chicks listening that are single, dude, they're gonna be in your DMs. They're gonna say, "What's up, Eddie? Gomez del Casal.
Dude,
I want that last
let's
name,
go.
baby."
No, but yeah, and I broke up with her.
Yeah.
That was the lowest point of 2023. Let's say that way. I was like, this gotta change. I cannot go back to rock bottom. In February, the doctor told me I need surgery. I have my surgery in March. Then this breakup, many other things that has happened, And I called him. I was like, hey, can we talk? And he's like, are we gonna talk about your ex? I was like, no. Like, because it's over. It's like, yeah, I know. I was like, I actually want to talk to you about something very serious. And he thought that I was actually going to leave back to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I know this sounds crazy, but I'm leaving Tampa. I'm actually looking for new beginnings, and I'm gonna travel the whole U.S. You wanna come? I think you need it. And I never told him this, but I mean, we talk in other podcasts that we have interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
I said this, but he didn't know that day. I was like, that was actually, it was gonna be one of my last tries trying to get him back out of that depression. I was, imagine, for 12 months. Knocking his door like almost every day. Hey, let's go, man. I even slapped him one time. Like when he tried to commit suicide.
Yeah.
I was like, I slapped him. I was like, I'm just slapping you so you remember how I feel, so you never do it again. Like.
Yeah, I went for a hug and he hit me.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It was like.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do at the end of this podcast when we go for I'm gonna slap the shit out of both of you. Yeah. If that's how we show love, dude, I could do that. I'll be, love you, bro. I need more friends. I want to start hanging out more. Slapping motherfuckers.
We know we're givers. We know
Yeah.
we're givers. So it's like, what if we actually travel? First of all, rediscovering that happiness that we like, that energy ourselves, connecting with God, impacting lives, and actually meeting with the clients that we have, and we get them through workouts. We see their lifestyles, everything, which has been amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And the thing is that, and that's why I know that God exists. Like it has been magic, because in every step we have been able to do a little bit of every single thing that we talked, and He has been setting up the right people for the right message for what we need to do. And even in Tulsa, we stopped in Oklahoma to see a good friend of ours, and I met this guy at the gym, and he starts to pray. He puts his hand on my heart. He doesn't know me like at all, and he starts to give me every single answer of the questions that I asked the night before on my journal. And I'm like, how is this possible? And the same to him. He starts to pray and say things that I'm like, I haven't even talked to him about things. Like, how is this possible? I mean, we're calling it divine appointments for a reason. It has to happen. And even you know, like, I mean, we saw at the gym, and we're learning so much, you know, from every single body. So it has been just amazing, you know. And every step we go with no expectation. We go with a kind of a goal, like, hey, we want to impact people. Like, we want to be okay, this person, we want to help them in this way. Yeah. Let's make sure that morning routines are set up in place, that we pray, you know, we do the Bible study every day. But it just goes, it gets even better. Every stage is getting even better and better and better. And
I already told you guys, it's going downhill after that. Ain't nobody going to put the cherry on top like Utah, baby. You know what I mean?
Beautiful place.
Yeah. Beautiful place. You guys seem like that you guys are, you know, doing something that's so unique and so different that it has there's no other thing but something great to come out of it, because it's so unique and so different, right? And it's so authentic. It's you're putting your faith out there and just saying, you know, we believe that if we just go out, we don't know what's going to happen, how it's going to unfold, but we're going to surrender ourselves to the journey, right? And I think that that's where people find themselves in dark places, when they're not surrendering themselves to the journey, and they're almost trying to swim against the current a little bit. Like, there's things that happen to us that are outside of our control, yes, but we have the ability to control how we respond. And in some cases, there's things that we need to surrender to so that we can learn the lesson that it needs to, that we need to learn in order to make the adjustments to improve our life. If we keep fighting the thing that we're not surrendering to, then the lesson will never reveal itself, and we could never enhance our life, and we'll continue to fight the same fight over and over and over. That's why some people for 30 or 40 years, they say that their complaints are the exact same complaints. I can't catch a break, my boss, my this, my husband, my wife, my whatever it is. They're always placing blame on something, and then they live in this same problem cycle for 30, 40, 50 years because they never really surrender to the problem and let it take them to the low that it's trying to take them to, so that they have the ability to kind of recalibrate, readjust, and reattack, life itself. So tell me about some of your highlights. I'm guessing very similar in terms of, the Tulsa thing and
100%.
All that. So have you guys decided, like, hey, we're staying 4 days here, 5 days here, or do you guys kind of vibe it out depending on where you're at?
Cool thing about it is we have like, all right, we're going to stay for 2 days. We definitely know we have a spot to stay, or we pitch a tent, whatever it might be, either a hotel tent or somebody's place. Yeah. But most of the time, we've been staying like 5 days, 6 days. It all depends on what's going on. Yeah. And what that next step is for us.
So if you guys have appointments with people like that are some of your clients, do you just tell them, hey, we'll let you know when we're going to be close by?
Yeah.
Close by or something, because the trip, like this, hey, we stayed here 5 days, here 5 days. We thought we'd be here by now. Like, you guys obviously have a somewhat of a roadmap, because you were talking about it the other day. Like, after Utah, where are you guys going?
Arizona, Grand Canyon. And that's actually, a trip for us and God. We're going to go deep into the Grand Canyon, put the tent, and connect with God. And then Nevada is going to be for clients, and then different states have different missions that we have set.
So you guys are going to go camping in Grand Canyon somewhere?
Yeah, I think the North Rim.
Yeah, that's cool. There was a dude that hit me up that wanted to go running, because there's like a 48-mile trail.
Wow.
Wow.
Is it the North Rim to the South Rim, or South Rim to North Rim? Do you know?
Probably, I think it's Khabib Trail.
Khabib Trail? Something. There's something that where you got to climb in and climb back out or something like that, and it's 48 miles. And they said, hey, do you want to run? It's called Rim to Rim, is what they call it. Yeah.
You start it up by Jacob Lake.
Okay.
And then you run
down,
the South Rim,
and then back up.
Yeah, because the South Rim is the popular end.
Yeah. So if you guys want to run Rim to Rim, dude, 48 miles.
Let's do it tomorrow.
I'm I'll be cheering you guys on. Yeah. I did 40 like a week ago, dude, so I can use a couple weeks of recovery time. So, let's say the trip's done. Right, we're done with the trip.
Yeah,
we're back in Florida. Is that the goal? Is to be back in Florida, right? That's where you guys are ending the trip. Is back home.
Yep.
Okay. Now what?
That's the best part.
You don't have answers.
That's the question.
Yeah, you guys just don't have answers.
We came on this trip because we were trying to find that answer.
Yeah.
But
do you I believe, based upon what I've experienced with you guys so far, and I'm hearing what you guys have experienced, that something will reveal itself on this trip to the point where you'll know by the end of it exactly what you should be doing, where you should be, and how you should be showing up in the world, right? Right now you're showing up for yourself at a high level, and by default, because you're taking care of yourself at a high level, honoring your body, honoring God, honoring just faith itself on this journey, that something good definitely has to come from it. Answers will be available to you at one point or another. It might be the last day of the trip. You never know, because it was literally the last moment before you were about to take your life that something happened, right? So in a lot of cases, some of the best things happen at the very last moment, where you don't think that you could take it anymore, whether it's in business, like I just can't take it anymore, and then finally you get that big break, or right?
To me, the best thing so far we have been able to impact. I have been able to get myself back. I think one of the best things, if I think about the whole thing, is being able to see him after 12 months out, back, living life. And he knew that coming to this trip, I wasn't gonna let him get back to his room. It was just gonna be like, okay, we're gonna work out, we're gonna get healthy. You're gonna talk to people every day.
It's just funny that you guys set out to do this. Again, you're getting your mind healthy, your body healthy, getting back to being spiritual and connecting with your source, right? And by default, when you do that and you take care of yourself at a high level, you're able to impact.
Yes.
At a deeper level, right? So that's what I think is cool about it, is in serving yourself, you're really serving other people, which is something that I alluded to earlier on the podcast, right? That you're actually being disrespectful if you're not being the example. And how do you be the example? You have to make sure that you're living life 100%. In a way that makes you excited, that makes you want to get out of bed the following morning, right? Like, you guys already had a podcast this morning. My guess is it probably wasn't that difficult to get out of bed after a 15-mile hike, being tired and sore, because there was something new, different, and exciting that the day was going to bring, right? It wasn't just going to be the same old day as the day before, the day before, the day before. And so that's what I think is so cool about the story, is that really you said, let's get out of here. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's put faith in something greater than us. And by doing so, you're actually bringing light to the world by just doing what's best for you, right? Because you're now showing up better. And when you show up better and you're communicating or in contact with other people, it has that ripple effect.
And I believe in that, because we were in Denver before Utah, and we got stopped on the streets. But these strangers are like, you guys look so happy. You guys actually, like, I want to talk to you guys. Like the energy. The law. And we were talking about the law of attraction. Yeah. 4 weeks ago, we were so into us. Like, we didn't want to talk. Like, I didn't even want to reply the text messages I was getting on my phone. And right now it's like, oh, that guy's down. Let's go talk to them. Or like, hey, let's do this. And that's what is great. Going back to your answer, to your question about what's in Florida, that's the exciting part, because I truly believe that once we get back, not only we're gonna be able to help people in our circle once we get back to Florida, which we know that they need help to get out of some funks, yes. But also, to me, it's gonna be a new beginning in many things, and probably relocation. And that's something that I'm doing this trip. believe me, St. George is top of my list.
Hey, there's
But-
only one king of the George. Baby. Don't be coming knocking, dog, unless you ask for permission to hit these streets, bro.
No,
you know how it is.
it's just like when we're looking for a good circle, a
Yeah.
good place, to start the next stage of our life.
Yeah,
And that's what we're doing right now, discovering so many great places that
Yeah.
we didn't know.
yeah,
Like we started traveling, and like, wow, people are so nice.
yeah.
Like, wow.
When I used to-
Maybe I'm the asshole that didn't want to communicate with humans, and they're actually
We opened the door
halfway
and they say
decent
thank
people.
you.
Yes.
Like that was
Yeah.
something like we actually opened the door for a girl our age
Yeah.
in the gas station. She's like, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Like, whoa.
I was like, what? Like
That doesn't happen in Florida.
What just happened here?
I'm sure it happens, but maybe
I was at a first off, I saved a guy's life in Florida. Okay, in
Oh, there we
Miami.
go.
Yeah, it was cool. Well, I don't know if he lived or died. He was alive when the ambulance took him. He's an old guy, dude. Next thing you know, this lady was screaming at, like, we were at a nice Italian restaurant. We're getting some fine wine, like all that, like trying to like be like, we're trying to do all the shit that you think that you should do when you're on the path to be successful. You go to a nice restaurant, you order a fine bottle of wine, and you're like kind of like going through the motions of what you think you should be doing when you're successful. It's sipping on fine wine and eating at a nice place, all that. Anyways, so I'm, I have a glass of wine, and we're like, hey, bring more wine. The dude to my left over here is having dinner with, like, it looks like, one of their friends or something, right? And they're probably both, around 70 years old, 75 years old, these two couples that are having dinner together. All of a sudden you hear this lady just scream at this nice Italian restaurant. It's kind of like dark, and, they got that ambiance going, and you hear this scream. And you're like, what the hell's going on? Her husband was just like hunched over. And I was like, Kel got up, I got up, and I think Kel's like, did he eat something? Is he choking or whatever? And she's like, no, we've been done with dinner. And I was like, we got to shock his body, So I go grab my ice water off of the table and rip the back of his shirt, like, right around his neck, and just pour it down his back. And he goes, and like looks at me like he wants to kill me, because for him, it was like no time elapsed, right? Like he was just sitting there. Next thing you know, there's a dude dumping water on him. He had no idea that he was just like, weekend at Bernie's, bro. He was just gone, son. And they cleared out the tables. The ambulance came in, wheeled him out, but he was, who knows what was going on. But I had done that before when I was a drug addict. I watched somebody pass out in front of me. Right. And they say that, like, if somebody's struggling in terms of like overdose, or just in general, if somebody has something going on, like an old guy that's stroke or whatever, I don't know. I just remember, shock their body. You're supposed to like throw somebody that's overdosing in a cold tub or this, that, get cold on them. Their body's like overheating or whatever, and it'll shock and wake them up. So I did that once previously, but that was like a bad experience with drugs, bringing them back. And then I had that. I was like, dude, I know what to do here. I'm a pro. Give me some cold water. Everybody back up. Let me do what I do best. Splash, I
love that.
Revive. But anyways, that story went, came out of nowhere. But I was in Miami when that happened, and at Walgreens. And right, I'm from Utah, dude. Like, people open doors for each other. People say hello to each other. People say, how you doing? Look you in the eye, this, that, the other. Give you knuckles to just straight strangers at the gym or whatever. So I'm at Walgreens. We're going to get bottled waters, for the hotel and all that. We're at this Gary V Agent 2021 event in like 2018 or 19. And like, I'm going down the aisles. I'm, hey, ma'am, how you doing? And like, these people are like looking at me like I'm an eight. Like, why are you talking to me? Like, literally gave me the dirtiest, grungiest look. And I'm just like, people literally are like in that type of a headspace where when somebody's actually kind to them, they scowl at them because they just want to be left alone that bad. I'm like,
he's flirting with me.
Dude,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's trying to flirt with me.
Yeah, an 80-year-old lady at Walgreens. Bro. Like, hey, do you come here often on a Friday? To pick up your prescriptions? I get waters on the weekends myself. Like, do you want to hang out? at Walgreens next week. No, but like it's just kind of going to your guys' point. Like, you know, that's one thing that I do love about, you know, states that are a little bit more, I don't know if you call it conservative or, you know, whatever it is. They're just welcoming, kinder, nicer, right? Some of the bigger cities that you go to, everybody's just kind of looking out for them, and they have this like scowl and darkness and anger about them because it's always hustle bustle, go go go, and they're always, you know, looking out for number one rather than trying to actually make a positive impact in the world, which means that you actually have to communicate with other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that happened in Utah when you opened the door. Lady said thank you.
No, it was Denver.
Yeah, it was in Denver.
In Denver.
Mm-hmm.
But people are super nice here too.
What's
We went in to get something at the store, and then this guy was like, "Hey, how's your day going?" Good. Just super nice.
It was great.
Yeah,
Even
that's good.
Mount Zion, like people were so.
Oh
like,
yeah.
so awesome. You
Yeah,
know.
that's good. So this is one thing that I like about your guys' story is, you know, a lot of people say, hey, begin with the end in mind, right? Like that you have to have it all figured out before you start, rather than just actually having faith that I'm going to take this journey and I'll end up where I need to end up, and the answers will become available to me on the path that I go on, rather than waiting for all of the answers before you start, you know, walking this path or taking your journey, right? And you guys just know that by the time that this journey or this 2 or 3 months that you guys are on the road is done, you'll know something will have happened to redirect you, right?
100%.
Yep.
And I think more people need to, you know, take that lesson from this podcast and say, it's okay if you don't have it all figured out, but are you doing everything that you can and living your life with faith that if I make all of the right decisions on a day-to-day basis, if I honor my body and I honor my mind, I read scriptures, self-improvement books, surround myself with awesome people, that something good will come from it, right? Like you can only put yourself in so many good environments before something great actually happens, right? And so it's the same with bad. If you put yourself in bad environments all the time, something bad's probably gonna happen, whether it's, you know, dead or in jail or, you know, what at fights, you know. So, dude, I appreciate you guys coming on the show and you know, sharing your ups and your downs and your guys' journey with us. If somebody wants to connect with you guys, whether it's, you know, the coaching stuff or, you know, just to maybe say, hey, where are you guys headed next? You know, are you guys going here or there, right? Meet up at a gym or something with you guys and get a workout in or whatever it is, because people might want to connect with you if they know that you guys are. What are some of the states that, or the cities that you guys are going to? Do you guys know some of the cities?
Oh, all of them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Everyone.
so
them.
name
You
some of
name
the cities real
You want me
quick.
to name them all.
Yeah, you can just straight
Alright.
through.
So after this, we're going to Arizona. We're gonna be in Vegas. Arizona is gonna be Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon. So if you're around Grand Canyon, hit the dudes up.
So anything.
Actually, I don't know. By the
we're
time this
actually
episode airs.
in every
like 4
city,
weeks.
in every city we're going, we're making a post on social media,
Okay.
either on our stories or actual post. I was like, hey, workout.
Here's where we're gonna be. you know.
Let's get a workout if you're on this area, or hey, if you know anyone who needs help, connect us. We're gonna be here trying to impact people. You know, so the only social media that we are actually 100% him and I is Instagram. You know, and that's something that we spoke yesterday about it, like to someone else. We actually chose to reject like social media managers for Instagram because we want to be ourselves to people. Like sometimes it takes us some time to answer.
Yeah.
Like 24 hours, but every day we answer to everybody. You know.
And what Instagram handle?
Oh, Instagram is. Are you ready to say the name? I'm just kidding.
I mean, is it Eddie Gomez del Casal?
No. So it's Edy Gomez 10. So it's EDY GOMEZ 10.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Yes, put it.
Yes.
And then Clint.
And mine's Clint CLINT _Riggin RIGGIN.
Gotcha.
So the cities we're gonna be is Las Vegas, San Diego, LA, San Francisco, San Jose, Oregon, Portland. I'm sorry.
Possibly Washington.
Possibly
Washington State.
Washington, Glacier National Park.
Oh, that's beautiful. We were
Yes.
just there, baby. We ran half marathon up in that bitch, huh? Yeah. Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
did. Luke was kind of like lagging up in the mountains, but whatever. he found the finish line.
Did he
at
have the
one
camera
point.
behind you?
Yeah,
He was just recording you the whole time?
He was only like 5 minutes behind. Like it wasn't. I just gotta give him shit, you know. So
Guy puts it on the story like, oh, I'm
I-
behind
yeah.
the finish line. Well, I thought I didn't even finish.
a couple people asked, they're like, so legitimately, you just left people? They didn't even finish.
That's so
and I'm
funny.
like, no, I just crossed the finish line. And I said, because there was 3 of us, and I'm like, started with 3. Then it was down to me and Luke. I'm like, there's now 2 of us. And then I go across the finish line. Oh, take a selfie. And I'm like, alone.
That's funny.
Yeah, Glacier's awesome. You guys will enjoy that.
I think it's gonna be that's one of the ones that I'm really looking for. You know,
Yeah, that's cool.
It has been a dream of mine too.
Watch out for the
So,
mosquitoes, bro.
Yeah.
They're like velociraptors, man. They'll eat you alive.
We're basically gonna be in every single state. I think the best way is to look up Instagram,
Yeah.
connect, you know,
Yeah.
and we like please connect. Like that's what.
Have you guys thought
we
about
talk.
doing an Instagram together? You know, like how me and Kel have real business owners, like, and you guys would have your thing, like, you know.
Well, I mean, there's Live Relentless.
It's Live Relentless, yes.
But I feel like it's
yeah.
just, we just get so much more traction
personally.
on personals
Yeah,
Mhm.
compared to those.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we like it how it's right now, you know, but
Yeah.
we won't take down that idea,
Yeah,
you know. But basically, we're gonna be traveling the whole U.S., but Alaska and Hawaii.
yeah,
So, like I said, we love to connect with people, impact, you know, get a workout. The least thing that we could do is to give value to people, you know,
Yeah.
provide, you know. And we've been telling this on every podcast we've been helping. If anyone comes with promo code business owners, just kidding, we'll give them a workout. You
Yeah.
know, like if you don't know where to start, if you're going through a funk, if we could actually be the reason why, hey, here is a workout on us. Like, yes, make sure to start and do the same that psychology did to me once and told me,
Yeah.
just pay for one day. Period. That's it. That's the deal. We have enough hours driving.
as long as
create
it's not
workouts.
leg day, don't like, you know what I mean? Like if somebody's trying to get out of a funk or whatever, you know, like,
we're not taking
1,000 reps of squats with 300 pounds, you know, you're going to never make
it's
them,
funny.
you know, go back.
And the other thing we've been doing too, we actually created this group on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, that we keep adding people that are going through depressions, through hard times, and we actually on that Instagram group, we are putting daily activities, daily duties to do to get out of the funk, which is what we have been doing. You know.
Yeah.
And so far, we've been getting people in every state, you know, that they're like, hey, yes, where's the cost? $0. Let's do it. I just need you to actually do it.
Yeah.
You know,
The cost is getting your ass up and doing it.
Doing it. That's
the
it,
cost.
You know, so it has been great, and we're loving it.
Cool.
We're loving it.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on the show. You know, appreciate you guys sharing, you know, your, again, lows and some of the highs and some of the things that you're doing to fight the fight so that you guys could live a life that, you know, honors God and honors yourself and, you know, makes the world a little bit better place because you were here, right? So definitely take my hat off to you guys for that. Keep doing what you guys are doing, and I'm sure you guys will find what you need to find by the end of your journey. So
Thank you, brother.
yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you're sharing it with somebody that you love and that you care about. Remember the Real Business Owners live event, September 8th, 9th, and 10th in Plano, Texas. We look forward to seeing you guys there. Until next week, guys, keep kicking ass.